Hello, my name is Dana and I'm a registered dietitian with SOS Mentor. On behalf of SOS Mentor, we want to thank you for volunteering your time to be a mentor in the Imagine Health study. You probably already know that an unhealthy diet and lack of exercise are linked to the development of diseases such as diabetes and heart disease. But did you know that current research is also finding a link between the stress hormone levels and the development of these diseases? The USC Keck School of Medicine has partnered with SOS Mentor for the Imagine Health study in order to look at the effects of stress management on the health and food choices of high school students. As a mentor, you will be involved in the nutrition education part of the study. Imagine Health's nutrition education portion is a 3-tiered mentoring program that teaches high school students how to make healthy food and activity choices in order to improve and maintain their health and to teach others what they learn in the program. The time you spend with the students will make a lifelong impact on them, as well as their families and friends, as you help to teach them to become advocates for healthy eating and being active. The purpose of this video is to give you an idea of what it is to be a mentor in this study, and to briefly go over the program with you so that you know what to expect. So, being a good mentor means being dependable. This means committing to all 6 workshops so that you can set a good example. If an emergency does come up, just let SOS Mentor know. It's also important that you arrive on time, not only to set a good example, but because the first 10 minutes of the workshops are the mentor connection, which is where you actually do the mentoring. So, what it is to be a good mentor. A mentor should always treat the mentee with respect, be consistent, foster critical thinking, so don't just give them answers, but actually help them find them. You want to foster personal responsibility, expect that the mentee is going to do his or her best, so it's kind of that self-fulfilled prophecy, and keep everything that you talk about confidential if you feel it should be confidential. Ask for help, guidance, and support if you feel like you need it. Some other good mentor qualities include being a good listener, being accepting, being a positive role model, being empathetic to the students, seeing solutions instead of barriers. You also want to be a good coach. You definitely want to be non-judgmental, and just being a good cheerleader instead of a disciplinarian. So encourage them, let them know you believe in them, that they're going to do a great job instead of telling them what they do wrong. So a little bit about the structure of the program. Imagine Health is a 12-week study. The nutrition portion includes orientation, 10 weeks of nutrition education workshops, and a culmination. As an adult mentor, you're going to attend orientation and workshops 1 through 5. This is where the high school students are trained to become mentors. Then during workshops 6 through 10, those high school students then become the mentors themselves to elementary school students at a nearby elementary school. So the example that you set actually has a big impact on the type of mentors that these high school students are going to become. The workshop outline, so this would be a typical day, a typical workshop. There's snack when they come in. Then you do the pre-workshop connection with the mentors. This is your opportunity to ask them questions. You want to discuss progress that they're making towards their goals, go over their food and activity journals that they're going to be keeping, and then answer any questions that they might have. And I'll talk a little bit more about what that might look like. So after the mentor connection, there's going to be nutrition lessons. So this is where the nutritionist in your program is going to teach them about 20 minutes of nutrition education. Then they do some activities, and this is really another chance for you to help them out, help them find answers, know where to look, stuff like that. And then at the end, there's a post-workshop connection. This is another 10 minutes that you spend with your mentors. You help them set goals for the next week. So we really want these goals to be SMART goals, if you're familiar with what that means. If not, it means it's an acronym. We want them to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So, instead of them saying, I'm going to start eating more vegetables, how do you measure that? That's not very specific. So really, they'll be more specific, like I'm going to make half my plate vegetables at 3 meals this week, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday at dinner. Very specific. They know exactly what they need to do. After the post-workshop connection with the mentor, if there's homework assignments, that's when they get those. We do a raffle for all the students. And then after the students are dismissed, we'll just do a brief mentor debriefing. So it's about 5 minutes where we'll just kind of discuss with you, how did everything go, what do we need to make any changes, any concerns, things like that. Just some additional notes that are good to know. At orientation, you're going to get a mentor folder. Be sure to read through the materials in the folder before every workshop. And I'm just going to show you quickly what's in here. So this is the same folder that all the high school students will get, so you'll know exactly what they have. You have your lifestyle curriculum. This is all the nutrition education. You also have a student workbook. So this has all the worksheets that the students are going to work on throughout the program. And then the last thing is a food and activity journal. So the students are going to be keeping these every week. We highly encourage you to do it as well. There's a sample on the first page and then blank ones. So that, you can just kind of take a look at your eating habits as well. I know a lot of you are nutrition students, so it might just be fun for you to practice doing that. So you'll get this folder. You're going to take it home every week. Make sure you read through what's expected the following week before you come. So when you're in the workshops, you're going to be working in 4 different table groups. So each table group will have about 1 or 2 mentors and then anywhere from 4 to 8 high school students. And the first and last 10 minutes of each workshop is that's that mentor connection, so make sure you're there. This is really your chance to get to know the students. This program is based on the MyPlate and intuitive eating models. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the MyPlate graphic. This includes the guidelines from the USDA using the 5 food groups. Interspersed with the MyPlate guidelines are intuitive eating practices. So you don't need to be an expert at intuitive eating to be a good mentor for this program. Here's what you need to know. Intuitive eating is not a diet. Instead, it focuses on mindfulness and giving yourself unconditional permission to eat whenever you're hungry. So in order to become intuitive eaters, we need to develop an understanding of our body's hunger signals. So we can rank this on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being absolutely famished and 10 being that you're so full you feel sick. Most of the time we want to aim to start eating at a 3 or a 4 and to stop eating at a 7 or 8. So you want to have a good understanding of your own body's hunger and fullness signals so that you can help the high school students kind of start to understand theirs. They're going to be filling out food and activity journals every week and assessing their hunger and fullness as part of that, so you can help them. Once we know our body's hunger and fullness signals, we can give ourselves unconditional permission to eat with the understanding that we will eat based on our internal hunger cues and not on external cues such as boredom, guilt, stress, environmental triggers, maybe like even sitting watching TV can trigger us to think we want to eat. So those are all things to kind of be aware of. The research has found that when we do give ourselves unconditional permission to eat, we have more satisfaction in what we eat and are more able to honor our hunger in the long run. So the classes are going to integrate this approach with standard nutrition information based on the food groups in order to promote diverse and thoughtful eating patterns. Our message is simple: there are no good foods, there are no bad foods. We can all make choices to provide balance and variety whenever it comes to choosing what to eat. Please do not share nutrition information outside of what is included in the curriculum. I know this can be hard because it's what a lot of you are studying, but because this is a study, we don't want to compromise the integrity of it by having some students learn different information than others. So if a student asks you a question and it's not something that can be answered out of the information you find in here, just raise your hand. The nutritionist will come over and they'll do their best to generalize the answer or whatever, so that they're not, so that the study isn't being compromised. Also, if a student asks you, or while students are doing the activities, that's your role where you really want to just help them find the answers, as I said before. So you don't want to give them the answers, but show them how to find it. You're really setting the bar for the type of mentor that they're going to be to the elementary school students. And that's about it. Thank you so much for participating in the Imagine Health study. We're really happy to have you, and have a great time.